Okay. Thank you all the international press. It's an honor for us to have you at this stage. And I know that there is a lot of journalists that make a very, very long trip for to be here because we have international delegation from all over the world, not only Europe, but also overseas. And it's very, very pleasure because in this year, we have the friend of Automechanica, but in this year we are more great than Automechanica. In the other year, you know that there is Automechanica. We make an agreement with our friend of Automechanica. This way is possible in this year, is a odd year to be here, in the heaven here to be in Automechanica. I know that you have very, very interested to know the knowledge, the technological news that the exhibitor make, and I leave the stage directly to the president of AICA, Mauro Severi, that speaks in Italian, but there is the translation. Thank you to all.
Buongiorno a tutti, mi scuso ma il mio intervento deve essere in italiano, quindi qui mi scuso con voi. Ma prima di tutto vi volevo ringraziarvi per essere qui presenti così numerosi a questa 30ª edizione della nostra fiera. Siamo orgogliosi di aver raggiunto questo traguardo attraversando momenti critici di crisi generale per le nostre aziende, ma in questo momento di ripresa. E siamo anche orgogliosi del fatto che questa manifestazione occupi gli spazi o diciamo spazi ancora maggiori dell'edizione del 2019, quindi dimostra come le nostre imprese hanno fiducia nel futuro, nella trasformazione, nello sviluppo e in quello che saranno le soluzioni che le nostre imprese riusciranno a trovare per risolvere i problemi della transizione energetica, tutti quei problemi di cui discutiamo in questi ultimi tempi molto e dove vediamo anche poche decisioni, ma sembra che si stiano prendendo le decisioni che servono per rilanciare tutto. Io devo ringraziare anche l'ICE, l'Istituto del Commercio Estero, i ministeri italiani per l'assistenza che ci hanno sempre dato e anche la Regione Emilia-Romagna, l'ente fiere in cui siamo, nei padiglioni di cui siamo qui a Bologna, ma volevo dare questo messaggio come di fiducia nel fatto che, come stiamo già verificando, molte nostre imprese stanno già trovando soluzioni all'energia, soluzioni al rinnovo energetico, al fatto di trovare nuovi modi di fare funzionare le nostre automobili, al fatto che forse troviamo una soluzione che si aggiunge a quella dell'uso dell'auto elettrica per far funzionare le nostre attrezzature. C'è un altro momento, diciamo, di grande fiducia nella necessità che l'Europa prenda provvedimenti e faccia, come già annunciato dai governi sia tedesco che italiano, provvedimenti per riformare le decisioni un po' draconiane che sono state prese in merito alla scadenza per la trasformazione. Se riusciamo ad avere un po' più di respiro, un po' più di elasticità nell'applicazione delle norme, ma non nel fatto di dimenticare il fatto che abbiamo bisogno di fare scelte che rispettino l'ambiente, che ci riportino a una condizione di vita, diciamo, corretta e ideale. Le nostre imprese lo stanno dimostrando, quindi sono convinto che ci aspettino anni di lavoro, come questi anni sono stati di grande lavoro. Auguro quindi a tutti una buona permanenza alla nostra manifestazione e vi do appuntamento alle prossime. Grazie.
Okay, after the introductions, we're going to have the greetings from the Italian Trade Agency General Director of the Promotion of the Made in Italy, Mr. Maurizio Forte. Thank you.
Please encourage me. Thank you. Good morning, dear friends from the international press. As an Italian trade agency, we are the institutional body in charge of the promotion of Made in Italy around the world. We are extremely honored and proud to be partner of Autopromotec. These are not just words of courtesy. This is really true because from the very beginning, this is a long journey that started 60 years ago. We are partner of Autopromotec, and of course behind Autopromotec there are two very important Italian associations that all of you knows very well. AICA, here represented by the president Severi, and also the other colleagues Servadei and Vicentini, but also ANFIA, that is here represented by Gianmarco, Giorda. We are also very glad to have the representative, Mrs. Goetzen, that you know much better than me, from FIGIEFA, that is representing a very important part of the industrial chain, the distribution, because manufacturing is nothing, is then the product do not reach the end users and the clients. We are very much committed in supporting the Italian exhibition system. Every year we organize 125 incomings for 125 events that take place in Italy, inviting more than 11,000 journalists and delegates from all over the world. We do believe that exhibitions, Italian exhibitions, are part of our industrial system, and supporting the exhibition is part of our industrial strategy, because once you support an exhibition, you are indirectly but very effectively supporting the exhibitors and the manufacturers that are part of that industry. And that's why we are also glad to have another very important exhibition in this field, that is Automeccanica, that have a good relation and cooperation with our Autopromotec. I'm not telling you what is happening in the sector: sustainability, digitalization, innovation, excellence, quality. You know much better than me. I would like just to thank those journalists, because now I'm telling you what we have done for 2025 Autopromotec edition. We have invited more than 250 delegates and journalists from 45 countries. I would like to thank journalists and delegates that have accepted our invitation. And we have a very important representative from Africa, from Southeast Asia, from emerging Asian countries, because our task is mainly to try to attract new delegates, new business movement and businessmen, and to explore new markets. Together with Autopromotec, we have also done communication in order to promote the exhibition in many foreign countries, to attract more exhibitors, because an exhibition, even if it's Italian, is not international without a strong presence of foreign exhibitors, but also to attract as many as possible visitors and media. We are not only doing this together with the Italian industry of aftermarket components and equipment for workshops and body shops. We are also organizing some exhibition around the world, especially in the US market, like EPEX and SEMA, I'm sure you know very well. Also participation in the exhibition in Detroit for the batteries. And now we are focused on the Autopromotec 2025, and we are organizing more than 2,000 B2B meetings between the international delegates we have invited and the exhibitors. Because at the end, exhibition is B2B, is the possibility to meet or re-meet your clients and your friends. There is also an area dedicated to sustainability that has been developed by the organizer and has been supported by us, with a very important presence of startups that in this sector are very, very important. So this is practically, very practical way how we try to support the Italian exhibition system, and namely Autopromotec 2025. I wish all of you all the best, a good edition and a good staying in Bologna, that after all is a very great city where to spend a few days. Thank you. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you.
Okay. Now the word to the CEO of FIGIEFA, Sylvia Goetzen, who will introduce the meaning of the presence of FIGIEFA here in Autopromotec 2025. Yes. Thank you.
Yes, good morning, everybody, and a warm welcome from my side. This is not just to introduce FIGIEFA, but to first of all thank Autopromotec for the invitation and to say, of course, happy birthday to Autopromotec. This is my main message, of course, today. And not only FIGIEFA as an association, but FIGIEFA's members from around the world have gathered this week in Bologna on the occasion of the 60th anniversary of Autopromotec to meet here for our common right to repair. Please let me inform you a little bit and set a context in which this industry operates. And I'm particularly pleased to be with you in this crucial moment of time. Perhaps for those of you who don't know, FIGIEFA is a French acronym, but we are indeed the European Federation and political representative of the independent parts distribution in Brussels. But we understand ourselves not only as looking after our own small vested interest. On the contrary, our mantra is to keep this industry flourishing, to keep this industry alive and prosper. This is why our mission is to have a free competition and a strong single market in Europe, to ensure the freedom of repair for all of us and legal framework conditions for your businesses, for fair access to parts, tools, training. This sounds easy, but it isn't. 80% of the single market legislation is made in Brussels. And if there is a wrong piece of legislation, it could be one word, one sentence, or one paragraph in the legislation, then top down, your business can be hampered, or in the worst case, you can be put out of business. So that this flourishing industry is here is due, of course, to your fantastic entrepreneurship, but is also due to FIGIEFA, who ensures legal framework conditions for fair and free competition for you. Now, why Autopromotec, as we said? Happy birthday, and of course, Autopromotec, the specialized international exhibition of new technologies and innovative equipment and products, a showcase for the technological and professional growth in the sector. Of course, we are here with pride and pleasure, and with pride, we as FIGIEFA, we are partner of Autopromotec. This is a moment, as we said, a crucial moment. We have a new government in Brussels. We have a new setting in Brussels. It's a perfect timing to get together here, and I repeat, it's not only FIGIEFA Europe. We have our international colleagues from all over the world coming here to Autopromotec Bologna, and we are exchanging experiences about right to repair. And indeed, we are looking for opportunities ahead. Now, the new political setting in Brussels. There is a focus on competitiveness of the European industry, which is on the one hand good, but on the other hand, Brussels is focusing a little bit much on the car manufacturers, I must say. So so we are in a new geopolitical context at present. Brussels is very much looking at competition from China and the US and how to position Europe, how to position us here towards this new geopolitical context. There is a new automotive industrial action plan to which FIGIEFA has contributed, but it has also a very strong footprint for the vehicle manufacturing, rightly so. But we are also in a new context, and we very much feel it in Brussels, the new software-defined vehicle. When I was here at the last Autopromotec, we were looking forward and discussing how to integrate cybersecurity in our legislation, how to look at telematics, how to look at the live data of the vehicle. We are here and now discussing European legislation who is indeed integrating all of this now, here and now, in European legislation, and it will have an impact on all of you. So this is why we have been fighting, and we are fighting as FIGIEFA, to put us here, the automotive aftermarket, also into the context, into the spotlight, because we are a little bit the hidden champion, at least from the Brussels perspective, yeah, of course, only from decision makers' perspective, sometimes a little bit the hidden champion of the automotive industry. So our mantra is to make sure that this fantastic sector, which is represented in such a wide facet today here, this week here, is also visible for European legislators. We have made a very important study for this. We have a Roland Berger study issued which shows your contribution to Europe's economy, society and competitiveness. So we have put you onto the spotlight towards the European institutions. This important study can be downloaded through the Roland Berger website. So it showed really the hidden champion, but a significant contributor to the European economy. Therefore, we are trying to give our aftermarket a new name. Actually, we are the vehicle lifecycle solution industry. So proudly, we should present us not only as the afterthought, but as a vehicle lifecycle solution industry. We are here for our right to repair. So we are fighting for our freedom of trade of spare parts, also not insured, because there are many hindrances. Yeah? It could be that vehicle manufacturers make parts more and more captive with parts codings, and we don't get the codes. We are discussing this currently with the Brussels legislator. Undue hindrances of trade of spare parts. We are fighting for access to technical information and vehicle data. We are currently discussing with Brussels the software-defined vehicle and what that means for us. And we are in favor of a repairability of every vehicle component. So we will continue working for you, for Autopromotec, for our sector, so that also for the next 30 editions, we will have such a lively, vibrant and fantastic sector of which we can all be proud, and of which we as FIGIEFA, we are particularly proud. Thank you to Autopromotec for this fantastic forum here. Thank you.
Thank you, Sylvia, for so kind words. And now the stage to Gianmarco Giorda, which is the General Manager of ANFIA. Not easy. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you for inviting me, and it's a very pleasure to be here today. I'm the general manager of ANFIA. ANFIA is the association that in Italy represents both manufacturers of vehicles and also components. And in the component sector, we have obviously also the aftermarket companies. And it's the 60th anniversary for Autopromotec, but it's also an important celebration for us because we started to collaborate with Autopromotec in 2005. So this year is the 20th anniversary of the proactive and very, let me say, effective and long collaboration with the fair. We have a lot of companies. You can have the opportunity to visit the fair after this conference. We have a lot of companies here that exhibit with, let me say, a lot of products that have inside a lot of know-how and technological issues. As I said, we represent the component sector and the component supply chain. In Italy, our sector continues to be probably the leading manufacturing sector for our economy. Just talking about supply chain, we have more than 2,000 companies that operate in Italy, and we have a turnover of about 60 billion of euro. And the most interesting and important thing is that 50% of the turnover is export. So it means that our supply chain has learned in the last 25 25 years to be more internationalized. So we have a lot of companies that found new markets outside Italy. So we have a lot of companies that currently work with Chinese manufacturers, with US manufacturers, and sometimes we have a lot of companies that invested also abroad. Because it's important to be present where the production grows. So we have companies that open plants in China, in India, always with an approach local to local in order to tackle the opportunities that some regions can offer to our industry. But the Secretary General of FIGIEFA mentioned some challenges that our sector is facing. I just to summarize 5 points that give you the idea of how the magnitude of the challenges that the sector is going to face is big. So we have, for example, a very important issue in terms of demand of vehicles that in Europe is decreasing. Just to give you a number from 2019, the last year before COVID, we lost 3 million of vehicles sold in Europe. It means that also the supply chain, the component sector is facing a sort of overcapacity issue because the demand of vehicles is decreasing, and we need also to try to reconvert a lot of plants. Also because also in other countries, in other regions, the demand is growing, but not at the same, magnitude that the market asks for. Then we have another problem that is the competition very strong that is coming from China, not only from the manufacturers of vehicles, but we have a lot of companies that produce components that are coming to Europe with products that are also good products, so have a, a high level of performance. And this is another, point that creates uncertainty in our sector. Then we have duties from US. The situation is not so clear because every week the situation is changing. But anyway, this is another, factor that is, affecting our sector. And the worst thing for the sector is the uncertainty. And now we can say that the level of uncertainty is very high. Just to finish, the point has been mentioned before. Also, the transition to electrification is not going at the speed that probably the legislator thought when the regulation was put in place. We have countries in Europe where the market share of electric car is 15–16%, France, Germany, for example, but we have also countries like Italy or Spain where the market share of electric car is pretty below 5–6%. So we need probably to, reshape also this path to the electrification, and we are totally agree with the principle of neutrality technological approach. So we think that in 2035 it will be important to have probably the most of the cars sold in Europe electrified, but we also think that it will be worth and useful to have also other technologies to accompany the electrification, for example, fuels, but also biofuels, and other technologies that can, give an important support to the path to decarbonization. So coming to the fair, coming to the fair, as in the last 20 years, we have a very important presence as ANFIA in Autopromotec because we have a very big booth. We represent more or less 80–90 companies in the aftermarket sector in Italy. We have a very important booth. It's very interesting to remark that in our booth we host the Italian financial policy because we have a common project to tackle the counterfeiting activities that somehow from other countries come to Italy. So we check, we monitor, and sometimes we stop the import of fake products from other countries. This is an important thing that I would like to underline because let me say, give you the significance of the collaboration that we have with the financial policy. We have also a lot of workshop on electrification because, as I said before, we are open to all the technologies. We think that electrification will be probably a mainstream in the future. So for this reason, we organize some workshop also to try to define in which way the electrification will impact and will affect the aftermarket sector in Italy, but also in Europe in general. This is a new project. We are very proud of this project because for the first time we try to organize in the fair. There is an area in Quadriportico area quite close to the main entrance of the fair. This is a project that we called Green, Smart, Responsible, the ESG values driving the future of the automotive aftermarket. And just to be very briefly, to describe the project is a sort of first tentative to understand in which way we can use the criteria of ESG for the aftermarket sector, because you know that now ESG is a mantra, so it's very important that also the companies in this sector are aware of the fact that it's important to be, let me say, proactive towards these values, because, for example, the reputation could increase, but also the access to the financial market could be more better if you have inside the companies a sort of storytelling that puts this concept as, let me say, a central strategy for the companies. And there is also a game in the area that, let me say, is able to understand which is the readiness of the people towards the principle of ESG. Then we organize, and I'm finished because I'm going probably later, we are also organize a couple of specific and vertical workshop just to understand in depth with a sort of deep diving activities in which way we can use these three pillars of ESG for the aftermarket sector. So thank you again for coming here and have, let me say, a good and fruitful fair. Thank you.
Thank you, Gianmarco. Okay, it's my turn to introduce the 30th edition of Autopromotec. So, first of all, welcome. Welcome to the 30th edition of Autopromotec. This time, as we're telling most of the time the same stuff, okay? I would like to start with something a bit new. I thought a lot about it working for the setting up of Autopromotec, which is the 10th edition of Autopromotec for me. The deep meaning of the exhibitions. An exhibition is like a drop of water falling into the sea. It's something very little, mostly if compared to the ocean of the ecosystem we are in, every company, every professional, and everywhere in the world. An exhibition, like a drop of water, is also the combination of elements linked together, playing a crucial role in different processes. And the same here, putting together exhibitors, visitors, stakeholders like you. Like a drop of water, the nature of the exhibition is present, this moment, before vanishing into something different, but leaving an heritage. And finally, water, like exhibition, both are just fundamental. As we are unveiling Autopromotec after 3 years, nearly 1,000 days, my suggestion is to keep in mind that what we are in is our water. Okay, coming to the sector and the challenges, there is very, very few to add after the speech of Maurizio and Sylvia and Gianmarco, which I thank you a lot for staying on the stage with me. Thank you again. It is time of transformation, and here I hope you will find the opportunities to be aware about this transformation. New technologies, revolutionized services, artificial intelligence are around us, and we all need new tools to handle this change. Autopromotec acts as a focal point for all the exhibitors, both the Italian and the international, who excel in this sector with a highly specialized equipment industry renewed for its construction quality, technological research, and capacity for innovation. Since the very beginning, three has been and still are the areas that makes Autopromotec famous. Display of workshop, tire changer, body shop equipment, the entire tire industry, and the aftermarket components and car services on the show. Okay, here is very interesting because we come a little closer to this edition description. In its 30th edition, Autopromotec hosts exhibitors and products coming from more than 50 countries in the world. And here you can see on display where they are from. On the other hand, we worked very hard, also thanks to the Italian Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Italian Trade Agency, who supported us. Here in the map, you may find the countries of origin of the top buyers invited, who will be busy making B2B with the manufacturers, as Mr. Forte already underlined. Obviously, we do not have the definitive figure of the visitors, for sure. We are just about to open. But the second great data that makes up the alchemy of each fair, the visitors. But I can tell you that the entry badges were downloaded by professional visitors from 138 countries in the world. Maldives, Polynesia, and New Zealand are included. Another figures about the internationalization of Autopromotec is the script here with more than 900 B2B meetings set between exhibitors and professional buyers and importers. Here's more figures. Nearly 1,700 companies on display, 165,000 square meters of exhibition surface, more than 400 journalists registered, more than 300 automotive aftermarket associations worldwide invited, and nearly 50 of them involved in co-created business meetings and co-development plans. More than 100,000 professional visitors planned, as I said, from at least 138 countries in the world. Okay, and here's the map. You already found it on the entrances. The Expo Center is filled by companies part of our ecosystem, the same water as we are. I invite you to walk and witness every hall. You will find them all filled with exhibitors with no empty spaces. Without any doubt, I can confirm that you are in the largest and most international European exhibition in the automotive aftermarket sector of 2025. Autopromotec, like always, embraces every segment of the aftermarket with dedicated areas for workshop, body shop, and tire service equipment, components and spare parts, diagnostics and electronics, and then tire and inflation systems, car wash, detailing and car care, digital services, software, and workshop management solution, technical and professional training and updates. Okay, from now on, an introduction to some of the main features you will find at Autopromotec this year. As Gianmarco already said and introduced very well, the project on sustainability you will find in the Quadriportico Service Center, green, smart, responsible. I would like to underline here that we consider the topic of sustainability strategic for the future, but even though the concepts are mostly common for the majority of you, our ambition is to turn our visitors, which are mechanics, body shop operators, tire changers, and so on, more aware of the risks and opportunities connected to this ongoing process. The AIM Independent Aftermarket Meeting reached its 7th edition here in Autopromotec. Is one of the most important meetings where we organize every edition. And since the very beginning, witnessed the strategic importance we offer to the voices coming from different countries and sectors in order to shape a complex outcome and source for future decisions. This year's AIM, starting from its title, Cybersecurity versus Competition, underlined the change of paradigm with progressive shift in the mobility rules. Artificial intelligence is progressively transforming every aspect of jobs, as we know, introducing threats and opportunities at the same time. In the aftermarket automotive ecosystem, due to the regulatory frameworks who's changing, as Sylvia introduced already, cybersecurity will become probably the main topic to be stressed in the upcoming years, and a high representative of some relevant brands will discuss it about. So my suggestion is to secure a seat for this meeting set for tomorrow, 10 a.m. at the Auditorium Service Center. These will be the panelists of the Independent Aftermarket meeting tomorrow. Other workshops and meetings of relevance, 2 workshops devoted to the sustainability for both manufacturers and professionals, coordinated by ANFIA too. The largest news of generation air feed and digital tires. So we try to drain international point of view. I'm reaching that. I probably forgot one slide, but as you already said, so we work also for, to cover also the in-depth workshop of vehicle end of life is another workshop of relevance, and another international conference about the access on data. Here, the rest of the conference on display. But many, many other projects of great value are starting here and for the next 4 days on. Many of them are organized by editorial groups or associations or stakeholders, coordinated by us, the organizers. And it would be too long to explain, and I invite you to download the app and check all the conferences of potential interest for you. Coming to an end, I strongly believe that the most valuable element for us remain the brands and products on display in the pavilions, in every journal, and is in every journalist and association representative who decided to come visit, and every professional ready to test the product news. A stream of belief that strengthens Autopromotec every edition, and definitely the water we are swimming in. And thank you very much and enjoy the show.